am coming back. I am coming back. We are ready for side 2 of the album. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for just being. We're going to go ahead and move on in our album listen of The Who's Tommy with the second side of the album. These are going to be the tracks Christmas, which we're a little early for, Cousin Kevin, The Acid Queen, and Underture. A nice flip on the overture from the first side. It is the exact same day from when I filmed side 1. I just took a break. I got my water. I switched out my coffee for some water. So we're just going to go ahead, flip the album, and then we will go ahead and listen to side 2. The neighbors are doing the lawn outside. Not my lawn. Their lawn. I'll probably have to go and do the lawn. I might do it after this, but it gets a little hot here in Florida in the afternoon, and it's not really a smart thing to do the lawn in the afternoon here. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And I don't always feel like waking up early to do the lawn, and by the end of the day, it's just like, I wanna relax, you know? So, anyways, we'll do that, or I'll do that soon. You can't help me with the lawn. But anyways, the first side was pretty fun to listen to. We're gonna move on to the second side, and I see that Underture is 10 minutes long, and an instrumental, it says. So that's gonna be interesting. So let's see where the story leads. Let's see where Tommy goes next from Hawker. Whatever happened there. Let's just keep it moving, keep it fresh. Let's move on into Christmas. Let's go, guys. Let's get that started. I'm on side 2, right? Yeah, I flipped it. Okay. You know, sometimes you do like a double flip and you end up back where you started. Let me turn my volume down. Happy listening, guys.
Faces of the children, they get so excited.
That was supposed to begin?
He doesn't know who Jesus was or what praying is. Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Feel me. How can he be saved from the eternal grave?
Okay, Christmas is a really cool song, especially in the lyrical themes that we're dealing with here. There's a lot to unpack on that end, which we'll go into that unboxing in just a moment. Once again, the music kicks off like immediately. First of all, like it kicks off very, very quickly, and we're launched right into Christmas Day, and we're getting 2 halves of the coins. We're getting 2 stories here. We're getting what most, what most people have going on Christmas Day, and what most people are enjoying on Christmas Day, but we also have Tommy's perspective and what's going on with him on Christmas Day. Really interesting there. Music here, I'm so sorry, but I have to mention him again, Keith Moon. Man, he's jamming it up. I'm loving his drum style. I'm loving the production on it. Daltrey's voice, I like how he goes from soft and sensitive into something like more rock and roll, a little shouty, you know, perfectly playing into those 2 halves that are going on in the story. Because when we're speaking from Tommy's point of view, and specifically what Tommy's saying in those specific lines we'll talk about, Daltrey is singing with that particular sensitivity. He's singing with want. He's singing with childlike desire, with an innocent desire. But then when singing from the other point of view, it's celebratory in nature, but perhaps the tone doesn't quite fit. I like that a lot. I really like what we're getting here in the drama and the opera of it all. I almost said the soap opera, but not a soap opera. This is a rock opera. But let's talk about these lyrics, huh? With a story like this, you got to focus on them a little bit. Did you ever see the faces of the children? They get so excited waking up on Christmas morning hours before the winter sun's ignited. They believe in dreams and all they mean, including heaven's generosity, peeping around the door to see what parcels are for free in curiosity. So, painted a picture. Children waking up Christmas morning, and what do you imagine? You imagine them looking around the corners, seeing if there's any presents for them, the excited, you know, the elation of the kids, and just, you know, running downstairs in their pajamas and just looking at what's there. You know, it's a beautiful feeling. Then, Tommy doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know who Jesus was or what praying is. How can he be saved from the eternal grave? So I think we're kind of getting 2 interesting facts here. This is, by the way, before I even move on, I really don't know what age Tommy is, because before In Hawker, I thought we were talking about a prostitute and how she was going to open his eyes and cure him. But and now we're talking about Christmas Day, and he's a child, or maybe he is an adult who's just never experienced Christmas, basically. But I think it's a little deeper than that, because when they say like he doesn't even know what day it is, they could mean like, yeah, he's never, celebrated Christmas, so he doesn't know what day, Christmas is. That's understandable. Could be something a little more sinister, like Tommy's been locked away, as we see on the album cover and on the album art, like he's behind, looking out. Some sort of imprisonment in some relation. It reminds me of Genie a little bit. And then we get a religious twist on it. He doesn't even know who Jesus is or what praying is. And then someone says, how can he be saved from the eternal grave? So we're getting all these different people who are trying to fix Tommy. We have the hawker. Now we have someone in a religious capacity. Then we further describe the scene. Surrounded by his friends, he sits so silently and unaware of anything. Playing poxy pinball, picks his nose and smiles and pokes his tongue at everything. I believe in love, but how can men who've never seen light be enlightened? Only if he's cured will his futures, or his spirit's future level, ever heighten. So from this religious person's point of view, it could be a priest, some sort of, I would imagine, figure or leader. This person says, I believe in love, but how can men who've never seen light be enlightened? Getting kind of like a twisted tongue, like a two-faced kind of approach. Like, I believe in love and stuff and perhaps God's grace, but how can this kid be saved? He's never even seen light. Or how can he be enlightened? You're kind of getting like a double whammy there, double entendre of a more sinister nature, if you will. Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? How can he be saved? So you can imagine this person talking to Tommy, trying to reach Tommy, and then he turns perhaps to Tommy's mother and says, how can he be saved? He doesn't even respond to me. Now, the next lines are attributed to Tommy, who says, see me, feel me, touch me, heal me, which Daltrey sings with precise, like sublimity, subtlety. It's the word I'm looking for. Sometimes I actually have to find the words I'm looking for. I love that part. You really get a feel for what Tommy wants. And even that in that line, that desire, he wants people to see him. He wants people to feel him, to touch him. He even says to heal him. He wants to be fixed. He wants to be cured. He wants. Daltrey captures that want in his delivery there in the music. And then I thought it was interesting because I was like, ooh, Tommy talked. He spoke to this person. And now we're going to have some big revelation. But that's quickly tossed to the side because the next lines, Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? How can he be saved? So apparently this is all in Tommy's mind. Maybe because of the trauma, Tommy is physically mute at this point. And yet, he, of course, still has his mind, and he wants and desires. It's just a really interesting way of kind of looking into it. And then out of that sensitive little, those few stanzas where we have that internal dialogue that's very strong, we flip the switch and go right back into talking about the faces of children on Christmas morning, and then lamenting for poor Tommy and his situation. This has some little depth to it. Like this has some depth to it here. Let's move on to the next track, which is going to be Cousin Kevin. Let's see what Kevin's up to. Put this back down.
Okay. We're on our own. Turn on the fire. Long cousin, let's think of a game to play.
What the heck is wrong with this kid? So legitimately, we need to talk about Kevin. What the heck is wrong with Kevin? When this song started, I thought this was going to be like, okay, Tommy has finally found someone that can get through to him, someone that he can finally confide in, perhaps someone that finally opens up to him. I mean, I was clearly fooled from the first lines. We're on our own, cousin, all alone. Let's think of a game to play while all the grown-ups have gone away. I honestly thought this was going to be like, okay, maybe we can open up to each other. Maybe we can I don't know. I thought Tommy was going to be able to confide, open up, or jeez, cousin Kevin. Cousin Kevin's a sociopath. So what I'm kind of getting so far from this album, besides the great music, which by the way, like this song lyrically is just totally sinister, very sociopathic in the lyrics, and yeah, duh. But the music itself, while it does have a tone of like a haunting quality, it's not really that noticeable. If the lyrics were different, then this would just be like, you know, a normal kind of song. But because of the lyrics, it kind of changes the way the music feels. But once again, kind of like what I mentioned in the last video, the drama in this album and throughout each of the songs isn't very overt. It's not very demonstrative. It's very kind of like subtle in its approach to everything. And I think it's really the story and the lyrics that are providing, of course, a different kind of meat to the music here. Which, that's why I focus so much on the story and the lyrics. I mean, there's a lot going on. Just to finish the lyrics on that one, we're on our own, cousin, all alone, cousin. Let's think of a game to play. Now the grown-ups have gone away. You won't be much fun being deaf, blind, and dumb. But I've no one to play with today. Do you know how to play hide and seek? To find me, it would take you a week. But tied to that chair, so we're seeing where Tommy physically is. You won't go anywhere. There's a lot I can do with a freak. And then he describes some of the things he wants to do. Turning on the bath and putting Tommy's head under the water, shutting him outside, leaving him in the cold and the rain. And he's proud of his work. He says, I'm the school bully, the classroom cheat, the nastiest play friend you ever meet. I'll stick pins in your fingers and tread on your feet. A cigarette burn on your arm would change the expression to one of alarm. He's completely sociopathic. What I was getting at before was all the different characters that are surrounding Tommy in his life are trying to change him in some capacity. Some perhaps approaching with good intent. Some completely not good intent. Like, yes, putting a cigarette burn on your arm will change your expression. But that's not, that's negative change. You know? So I think that's an interesting angle to take on this album and on Tommy himself. You know, to see all these different people trying to change him, cure him, or do whatever with him. With different, like I said, intents and completely different means. Also, like, once again, God, you guys are going to hate me for completely focusing on Moon, but I can't help it. I just love his constant charge in the music, his constant movement in this particular track, because it's kind of adding to this suspense and this tension that's being built in here. I don't know. That's... And the singing is kind of creepy. Not once again, not overtly. It's just because of the relation to the lyrics. I was almost getting a little bit of an early Pink Floyd in the vocals, like very early. I don't know. Kevin, go away. Let's move into the next song, which I hope is going to be more fun. The Acid Queen. Let's take some acid.
If your child ain't all he should be now, this girl can put him right. The tipsy, I'm guaranteed to tear your soul apart. Tipsy, I'm guaranteed to tear your soul apart.
Okay, so I'm just assuming that she gave him a little tab of acid or something. I'm assuming she dropped LSD on him. I'm assuming that's what happened. Because at first, I mean, a lot of that is pretty much at first what I was thinking. But I guess you could look at it like a sexual experience, but I don't think so. Because even afterwards, she says, now look at him. He's never been more alive. Head shakes, fingers clutch, watch his body writhe. I think she gave him some drugs. And he's obviously reacting to it. What I like is in that particular part where I mentioned, like, he's writhing and his body shakes. Moon is filling in on a lot of the drums and he's providing that shaking, that writhing, that rhythm. I just like that. It's like one of those small details. By the way, I can't help it if I keep on focusing on Moon, because if I'm being honest, I'm not really focused on like the guitar or the bass so much on the last few tracks, because I haven't really found anything like really interesting necessarily about them. Like, they're fine, but they haven't stood out to me. Not the way that Moon and Daltrey does most of the time. Speaking of most of the time, I didn't really care for the singing on this one, to be honest. It lacked power. It lacked power, but also like personality. It sounded flat, and not necessarily musically flat, but just like plateau. Like it was just kind of even. Like there was no excitement or ups and downs to it. Not like what was provided in the music itself, because the music did have a lot of ups and downs. I liked how in the break of the music, oh my god, sorry, I don't remember everyone's name. Townsend, how he's providing that little guitar, and then eventually the music kind of builds off of that. You're kind of imagining Tommy being given these drugs, and it begins slowly, but it begins to provide, I don't know, whatever he's thinking and dreaming and hallucinating, whatever is happening. You feel that musical evolution first from the guitar, then of course the drums becoming this marching pattern. Eventually piano joins in to brighten those guitar chords, and then it all comes full-fledged back into force. So I think that's a really cool idea from the story point of view, and it was nicely handled at that particular point. But yeah, honestly, I didn't think the singing was really anything to write home about on this one. So yeah, he's got acid. Now we're gonna move. We're going to move on to the last track on this particular side, which is Underture, which I'm imagining is probably going to be an instrumental reprise of everything we've heard in like these two sides of the album. I'm imagining that's what it's going to be. Or it could be a preview of what's to come next. Who knows? You gotta let the needle drop to find out. That is the end of side 2 of the album, finishing it off with Underture. Can I tell you really quick? Can I just get my criticism out the way and we'll talk about the good after? Underture could have been under like 5 minutes. Like, if I'm just getting my criticism out the way in the front, it did not need to be 10 minutes long. I was kind of done after like halfway through, and I do think that it's interesting for about 5 minutes because the track is pretty repetitive, right? But it's not repetitive in that like a song would like have section A, section B, section C, and then just repeat A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. Underture is more like A, B, C, E, D, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I messed up my alphabet. Ignore that, okay? It's more like 5 different sections that are being repeated over and over rather than like, a twofer. So it's repetitive, but it's not like, it doesn't tire out as quickly. I'll put it like that. But even though I don't have like a timer or anything like that, I can't see where we are in the listen. About 5 minutes or so in, I'm kind of like, okay, let's either change it up or like end it. This did not need to be 10 minutes. That I'll say. However, what they did do, I think, was interesting. I like how we begin very empty, kind of like the opening of the album with the guitar and then the bass, and it comes in. Feels good when I can hear him like doing his thing. I love that. Obviously, we're talking about Moon. He's doing his thing. I even like Townsend's guitar in here as well, from the sharp riffs, bum bum, bum bum bum, and then midway through you get some intricate picking in there. So I like the combination of everything. Everything sounded good in here. It just went on a little bit too long for my personal taste. It's my first listen, and I just listened to the first side. This is my first listen, obviously, of this side. I'm not sure if there's any specific references in this track to some of the other ones. So honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I couldn't pick it out, to be honest. But either way, I did enjoy what this had to offer. I just wish there was less of it. That's the only thing. But I liked how it sounded. I liked how it moved and everything. And once again, Moon himself is kind of like, the draw on this one for me, just the sound of it all. So yeah, we're halfway through the album at this point. And on a first listen, honestly, I think it's good. I don't think it's the greatest thing I've ever heard. The story is the most interesting thing in here to me. the plot that's going on, and I'm excited to see like where that goes. Really have that rock opera kind of feel to it. In that, obviously, there's no visual component, but you know, there's that audio component which creates the visual. And now that we're kind of halfway through, when I'm looking at the interior of the actual sleeve, I'm really liking the duality between, you know, Tommy being stuck in the prison, but perhaps what Tommy is seeing and imagining, looking out, you know? Like, it's just really cool. Like, his fantastical escape, in a way. So I think that's really interesting. So, next time, I'm not recording another one right now. I recorded these two in the same day, but now I gotta go do the lawn. So next time we'll listen to side 3, which are going to be the tracks Do You Think It's Alright? Fiddle About, Pinball Wizard, There's a Doctor, Go to the Mirror, Tommy Can You Hear Me, Smash the Mirror, Sensation. So we will move on to side 3 of the album tomorrow. But for now, don't forget to like the video. You can subscribe if you haven't already. You can like the video. You can also follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel and myself on Patreon. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope it's not too hot outside. It's looking like a scorcher. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.